from day old, if you get your birds from a reputable hatchery, they're going to give you a schedule, like a chart, both vaccination chart and feed chart. So you can actually follow that to get what you want. And make sure you deworm your flock as needed. Make sure you deworm most times. So it's very good to deworm your birds monthly once they are 18 weeks and above. So I don't really know how others do theirs, but that's how I always do mine. I deworm them once every month. Okay, so that is that. So we have to clean our environment. Clean, always clean your environment to make sure your hen are stress free as possible. Most times when your environment is dirty, it makes the hens not comfortable, because most times when the rain comes and your litter is very dirty, you know, to soak the litter, once the litter is wet, it produce coccidiosis. When the litter is hot, yes, because most times when water comes in contact with this your litter, it becomes hot and it produces ammonia into the air, so it's going to make your birds sick. Definitely they will fall sick. So make sure your litter is always dry and clean as possible. So if you know your litter is not as thick like this, it's advisable you remove it. It's advisable you remove and replace it. But if your bedding is thick, you can remove about 6 to 7 months, once in 6 to 7 months. But if it's not thick and you know you can easily see the droppings of your beds, it's advisable to regularly remove it. Stress reduction. Stress can significantly impact to the laying of your bed. Make sure your beds are as stress free as possible. Okay? Make sure you prevent your beds from anything like rats, like predator or predator protection. Secure your pen and run to protect against predator. Most people use cats, or maybe you can use cameras to make sure you can watch around your pen to make sure there is no rodent or anything. That is another added protection. You can place a camera in your pen to make sure there is no rodent or anything in your pen. Make sure your nets are not open. Make sure there are no loopholes in your pen. Okay, so have a good routine management. Hens thrive on routine. Feed them, always feed your birds. Do not manage your feed at any cost. Collect your eggs and make sure you clean your pen, including if there's any droppings in here, you remove it to make sure it's very clean and okay for your birds to stay. Clean the coop at the same time. Every day you remove your eggs. Do not leave your eggs over time. Okay, so this is a good routine practice. Your birds are definitely going to thrive when you do all these. Okay, so make sure your chickens are social animal. Ensure you have enough space. Yes, like how I do most times. I come to my pen, I sit down here to observe my birds. Just ensure your birds have enough space to interact and establish a pecking order without conflict. Make sure your birds can move around freely without pecking any or each other. Make sure you debeak your birds. It's very, very advisable to debeak your birds. They can actually peck themselves, but it should not resolve to a conflict. By having a proper spacing, you can actually reduce cannibalism. Molting management. Okay, this is when our bird lose feathers. They lose feathers. This process is actually natural. All birds will experience this process. This is just normal. When birds lose their feathers and stop laying eggs to regrow their body weight and everything. So you don't need to panic, because this thing happen once every year and every bird is actually going to experience it. Just like when you see a bird that is looking kind of naked, like the feathers are not on their body. Yes, my birds are not like that currently because my birds have not started laying. Where you see your birds, the feathers are removed from the body. Okay, that is how it actually is. Okay, so in this time, by this time when your bird's feathers are removed, they need enough amount of protein. So increase the protein content. Make sure the diet is okay to support their feather to grow back. So that is just what you have to do. Make sure you can just keep on feeding your birds. Feed your birds regularly, like consistently, when they're at this stage, when their feathers has removed. You can help them to grow their feather back. And you also need patience. In this process, your bird will definitely start laying back. Yes, most of them lay during that process. Okay, most of them still lay during that process. So you just need a little patience to understand that this is just a natural process and it's a very necessary process. Egg production is going to resume once the cycle or the process is complete. So that is just how it is. Don't have to panic because the process is just natural. It's actually going to lay back. They're actually going to get back to their peak once the molting is actually over. They are actually, you just need a little patience because that time all the protein content this bird take is actually help to increase their feather. So once the molting is over, once their feather is off and back on them, they're actually going to get back to normal. Right? So in conclusion, optimizing egg production involves with what I've just said, like everything I've just said, involves the combination of selecting the right breeds of birds that will lay for you, providing optimal nutrition, giving them a very good food, ensure proper housing, like a well calculated space for your birds, managing light to know that your birds actually need 14 hours to 16 hours of light every day, maintaining health of your birds to regularly check your birds, reducing stress to make sure your birds give you a very good percentage of lay, and understanding that molting, your birds are going to remove their feather once in a year. So by adding all these steps, by implementing these steps and the tricks behind this, you will significantly enhance the productivity. Your birds are actually going to do well. Your flocks are actually going to do well. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you find these lessons very helpful in your egg production endeavors. Feel free to ask me any question on the comment section. So I'm actually going to answer you. So as I conclude this lecture on optimizing our egg production, I hope you have gained something very good. You have gained a very good insight you can apply on your farm to so that your flocks are actually going to do well. So thank you. Till we meet again. Have a wonderful day.